Welcome back, Ramblers. Previously on Ramblings of a Restless Mind.
This is probably will be the most meaningful podcast episode that I ever do. She's a Gigi to a wonderful, handsome young man. She is a dog mom. And but my favorite title is that she's mom.
Welcome to Ramblings of a Restless Mind. Let's get ready to ramble.
I've always said, having been in the labor and delivery with my mom for multiple siblings, that all of these like high school girls, right, that just talk about having children, I think they should just go watch a live birth. You go watch a live birth. It is going to change your mindset on not using birth control and going through with it.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes and no, because if they get epidurals like from contraction 1, and they really never have to
Feel
all of that.
Yeah.
The actual labor and delivery process can be very, and I'm not saying epidurals are wonderful. And I mean, medical technology is amazing for all of that. But I remember one young girl, there's so many different scenarios that you would see, but there was one young girl, I'll never forget her, and her mom was in there with her. And her contractions started picking up, to where she was getting uncomfortable. And her doctor had already written what she could have, IV pain medication, and that she could have an epidural whenever she reached like 3 centimeters or whatever, right? And so when she was getting pretty uncomfortable and really clutching onto the rail or something, I said, do you want anything for pain? I said, I can get you IV medications, or we can go to your epidural. And her mom, because the little girl was like, no, I'm okay. And her mom's like, no, she is going to feel what this is like so that she does not do this again until she's older. And I was like,
Oh, shit.
oh, wow.
Can't say I don't not support that. That's the obviously the birth that I would want them to see.
Yeah, right.
Right. Well, I mean, but still the bottom line is it was really up to the little girl. But I think she had enough. I don't like to call it fear. I call it respect for her mother that she chose not to do that.
Who was going to be jumping in and doing the workload to support her, right?
Her mom.
Right. So I'm sure that there was a okay, I'm going to go there because otherwise you're not going to help me and I'm fucked.
Yeah. So, I mean, yes, I did want to have children, and I ended up with 2 amazing children. I can
verify this information.
A lot of times I feel like I was really lucky because I would listen to some other parents with their kids, and I felt like I could trust my kids. I knew that I did a few things behind my back. Not really behind my back, but
oh, I know.
I'm pretty sure we've confessed to everything by this point anyway.
Yes, but I'm like, I kind of knew that, but maybe a couple things I didn't.
Listen,
but not to the point.
Parenting is just picking battles, right? You know so much. You know so many things that you've done, but if you come down on them for everything,
you can't.
Right? Then it's just animosity, and you're not going to win.
But
there's no lessons being learned.
But the one thing that you do have to do as a parent, and especially a mom, because I would hear so many people, and living in the single mom world, I would hear people say, well, wait till your dad gets home. And I'm like, you can't do that because they need to respect you as well. It needs to be the mom as well. Mom needs to be able to say,
well, that's unfortunate. It's very, very Midwestern as well, that patriarchal, hierarchical, that the authoritarian and disciplinarian is the father.
Is the father, yes.
Right? And so absolutely. And that completely usurps the power structure of the mother. Right? Like, so, oh no, that's super, super common. And so, no, I'm very Machiavellian. I desire to be feared as well.
People's like, well, do your kids, are they afraid of you? And I was like, no. And I said, and also even with my dad, because somebody said one time, well, what would your dad ever do if you got pregnant? And I said, I don't know, because I'm not going to get in that position to find out. And they're like,
literally.
I said, seriously. I mean, they're like, are you that afraid? I said, are you that afraid of him? And I'm like, no, I respect him.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, it's like, and
I
that
would
when you
hurt
don't want to,
him.
you don't want to disappoint him.
I don't want to disappoint him.
Right? Yeah. And that's where that loss of respect in the parent relationship comes in. Because I could say that I did not care about disappointing my mother because she was endlessly disappointing me.
Right. So,
Right.
And I feel that's where it comes from. I think you have to have that respect. And I think part of that is you have to be able to tell your children, you know, these are the boundaries. And do I need to explain everything as to why? No, I shouldn't have to, because I remember Dad would say, because I said so. But I think that there's also kind of a line there where you can make it just a respect thing so that they can understand, especially if they're old enough. Now, I mean, if it's a little toddler, it's like, no.
Right.
But the biggest thing is, as a parent, which I feel like a lot of times, unfortunately, there's no book on there is books on parenting. I'm sorry. But anyway.
There's no manual they automatically give you.
And you don't.
It's this, then that.
No.
Yeah.
You don't have to take
No.
a test to become a parent.
No.
That kind of thing. And you do learn as you go. We all make mistakes.
Yeah. But you do have to understand that you're a teacher.
Right.
Because if you choose a parenting style of, well, I'll just do it, right? I don't want to stop to take the time. It's just like in any role of management where somebody has to be trained, right?
Right.
In order to be able to assimilate and to fit in, right? They're going to have to learn.
Right.
You know, and so having a relationship of not just I am teaching you life lessons, right? I'm also teaching you how to be your own independent human.
Right.
And setting healthy boundaries of, like you're saying, as a toddler, like, no, but as you get older, to be like, well, this is what communication is. I'm teaching you, right, to talk to you about
Yes.
it, and then to teach you the why, and then to teach you these things that then this is the why of why we do this, right? And I think that some parents kind of lose you gotta take a little bit of patient time with the learning.
I think part of it too is that I think, unfortunately, especially I've seen it more now, not so much when my kids were young, but I think parents feel like they are supposed to just be friends.
Yeah.
And give them everything they want. And
It drives me crazy. I get it. No, corporal punishment. No, right? Violence is not a lesson, but you can take things away. There are absolutely healthy discipline actions, and that is so true. There are so many people just feed into I don't want to be conceived as being abusive in any way, shape, or form, right? So I'm going to overcompensate.
right.
And I'm going to just give them anything and everything, which makes shit humans.
Right.
Those are the entitled little assholes that will go to the birthday party and destroy shit. Right?
Well, but I think you also have, and I can give you a perfect example of this. The kids and I, single mom, living in the trailer, I'll never forget it. They came home from school one day and they had these pieces of paper and they had been through, they teach you, like, don't let somebody touch you inappropriately, all this kind of stuff. Don't let anybody abuse you. And so Jeremy's like, Mom, if we do something wrong, you can't spank us. And I said,
I'm glad Jeremy was a sassy one that time and not me, because it was usually me.
he's like, Mom, you can't spank us if we do something wrong. And I said, I'm going to tell you right now, Jeremy. And Jennifer, be listening. Because if either one of you does something that you deserve a spanking for, you will get spanked. And if you want to call that phone number on that piece of paper, you go right ahead.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we'll see, I said, no, I'm going to discipline you if you need to be disciplined.
Well, and because, again, there has to
there's
be
a
a
line.
small element of fear, though, in parenting, because we have to keep them safe and alive.
Right.
And we got to rein them back in, right? Because otherwise they're going to hurt themselves.
Right.
So there has to be just a little bit, and I love that. No, you left the threat out there. Right?
Well,
the action
I
wasn't
guess-
needed. It is just just so you understand. Very, very mafia
Yeah.
style. I appreciate it so much.
Well, and I think it was Jeremy and I growing up did and still do have an immense amount of respect for you. But it's also because you held us accountable. If you said, if we did this, this was going to happen, and we did it anyway, that happened.
Yeah,
And
you got to follow through.
I know, and I think now I am about to be one of those people that doesn't have kids, and I'm not trying to tell anybody how to parent, but I think that the accountability piece, once you are disciplining a child, has to be the hardest part because
it is. It's very hard.
You're angry in that moment, but then that follow through piece there. So whether it's taking something away, and a lot of times these days it's some sort of a device, or grounding, or not going to a sleepover, not being able to go to a sleepover, and then you see your child upset and you're after the fact removed from it. It's got to be so hard to stick to that. However, Mom kind of learned to love it because her house had never been as clean as it was when I was grounded.
I'm telling you, I said, Jen, I
Child
should
labor.
ground you more often.
I'm all about it. I'm all about child
I was
labor.
trying to lessen my sentence, okay? I was trying to mitigate circumstances.
I am also about guilt. I love some guilt in parenting because I will tell them, like, I am being punished as well for you being grounded, right? I am going to have to drive your ass around because I had to take away your car. You're making me suffer, right? There are systemic consequences that I need you. Like, I have no problem being like, puts us all out. Do you see what you've done? You've put us all out. Don't do it again, right?
Yeah, I guess I never would use that, but I would feel that.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
you talk to your friends behind the other parents, you're like, oh my gosh, this punishment that I've created here, this is harder on me than it is on them.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm just very honest with my boys because I'm like, I don't want to do this. Do you fucking understand? I don't want to do this. I don't want to punish you. I'm annoyed that I can't trust you in this moment, right? And that we have to go through this learning. I understand, but I want you to know it bothers me.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
and so I'm being punished too.
And I am being punished too. And so I know that you love me and you don't want me to feel this way. So you're going to think about that again. And I will send my kids pictures of like my face. Like,
oh my
do you
gosh.
picture me going,
I can see that. I can see that.
Well, and I mean, this could be a whole other podcast episode, but I think in this day and age, it has got to also be so hard whenever you do remove a device or whatever, because it is such a culture of immediacy and technology that children don't know how to entertain themselves without the internet or a game or, whatever. At least I could still go in the backyard and, I don't know, figure some shit out. You know what I mean? But
it makes me so happy, like when you see kids on bikes.
Yeah.
Just doing normal kids stuff, because it is having been a teacher, and like that was a decade plus now ago. Even then, it was incredibly difficult to disconnect kids from their phones because parents are giving their kids phones younger and younger and younger, and the tablets younger and younger and younger. And so that's all they know. Some of these kids.
Yes, because Jen was very upset with me because she didn't get a cell phone.
Listen, I'm triggered. I want to talk about it. So I was talking about this with a friend not too long ago, and we were talking about road trips.
Yeah.
And she asked me, because she has an older sister, and she was like, God, we used to bicker. Like every time we go on a road trip, she's like, we would just sit in the back and just fight the whole time. She was like, what did you and your brother do when you guys would go on road trips? And I was like, shit. What
The fucking Von family trap singing.
Like, because Jeremy and I, thankfully, like we really, like he's been my bestie, like my literal day one bestie. And so we didn't really fight tons. And I really don't know what we did to entertain ourselves on road trips other than try to find license plates from every state.
Yeah, we would play different
Steve.
games. Yeah. Sing songs.
Oh, yeah, we would do music. Yeah, there was a lot of music.
How many bottles hit the wall? That's my first question.
Oh, no, it was very like Journey and Bon Jovi and Def Leppard and Prince. Yeah, absolutely. Well, circling back, because I don't want to lose the questions that we have from some of the social media folks. But one, I just have to personally say thank you for not ever making me feel judged for me not producing a child so that you could be a grandparent.
Heavens, no.
I know that it seems so easy for you because of the person that you are and the relationship that we have, but I can only imagine either folks listening or who will listen, or whether on the parent or the child side, either are so scared or hesitant to tell their parent that they don't want to have children because they feel like it's just expected of them and they don't want to disappoint them, or as a parent who maybe their child has told them that and they're like, coming to terms with the fact that they may not ever be a grandparent. And that's also got to be hard. And both are very valid, and two truths can exist at the same time. And so I love to have you here to be able to say, like, yeah, like I thought, and granted, Jeremy, thank you for taking that pressure off, and Eunice. But, you know, to have someone sit here and say, like, I love my daughter, and I would have also loved any children that she had, but thankfully you love your grandpups, and
I do.
and that you never wanted me to have a kid just for the sake of having a kid. So
I'm gonna throw an extra thank you in there because of the number of past boyfriends, moms that I've had that have just. I mean, I have known your son's penis for about a week. Okay, do not put the pressure of procreation. Immediate, because there are some women that are just on their daughters about, you know, that's the role, right? You need to have kids. If you don't do that, like something's wrong with you.
Well, and I do think that, but I don't think it's. Do you think it's still as strong today as it used to be? I mean, I feel like
I think that depends on the area that you're in.
I was
our
gonna say
massive
exactly.
country.
I think that's probably very true, but I feel like, you know, and if Jeremy and Eunice would have decided that they didn't want to have children, I would have been totally, you know, I want them to do what they feel comfortable with.
Well, and I think there's definitely a move because our fertility and birth rates have dramatically dropped. Like, thankfully, our children aren't having children.
Right, which is much better.
Great. Yes, thank you. As other people are like grossly like saying that there's something wrong with our children no longer having children, and they're like, I'm like, no, that's actually a good sign of a healthy society that we're lifting up.
Yes.
Are you? Well,
you know, if you think way back on time, you know, obviously women were having children at a very young age because
as soon as
the life expectancy wasn't near as long, and you needed them to work on the farms and all that kind of stuff. So they were having children at a very young age, and I think it just kind of continued on like that. Now I do think, I mean, I experienced it, but you know, I've been out of it for a while now. But I mean, you know, it's like, yeah, I'm having my baby younger than my mom did. And I'm like, is that something to be excited about?
Exactly. Yeah.
But,
and there's definitely that societal shift now where women are waiting longer.
Right. But I was starting to really see, even before I left labor and delivery, that you were getting, we had to call them like geriatric patients, which is, I thought was a terrible term for someone.
No doubt, right? Just because she's a woman in her 40s.
Right. And so she's geriatric because she's
it's
pregnant.
true, though. That's the label you get.
Right. But I thought we were seeing a lot more of that, which I thought was good. You know, that I feel like people were getting married later, you know.
And I think there was
so
much propaganda because I grew up in a it was very religious obligation. Right? You get married, you have children. Or you get married, you have children work on farm. Get married, have children work in factory. Choices. Right? And there's definitely a movement, right, of just leaning more towards that healthy choice towards healthy family. Because we don't have the farms anymore, and we don't have the economic ability to support 10, 12 kids. Right? Like, so it's a good shift in so many ways, which is why I appreciate you, right? Because you are of a different generation and could be saying something so much different to me saying,
why did you give me 10
Right, exactly. That's my point. That there's no this judgment, right? That you should have led a lifestyle that is no longer applicable.
Yeah.
You know, like that you allowed her to have her own life.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And it's not, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and that and thankfully, not just around a family dynamic or having children, not having children, but I mean, in every facet of life, right? Like what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go to college, if I wanted to go to college, you know, religion, you know, like you just always provided. And again, I don't think I realized at the time growing up when like you shouldn't wonder why all of Jeremy and I's friends wanted to come over to our house.
Right.
Because I mean, the cool mom, whatever, but cool in the good sense of like you were still a parental figure to these folks, but you provided such a welcoming home for whoever was walking into it. There wasn't judgment. There wasn't they don't look like you, they don't come from the same family as you, you know, like, or you must practice this religion. Like Jeremy and I were very involved in youth group growing up and stuff. And granted, we were also raised Methodist, you know, for a bit there, and which is one of the more liberal denominations of Christianity. But then once we started questioning things, you guys were like, you were cool with it. You were like, yes, learn, make up your own minds. Like, you know, and I am so grateful for that, because it helped me provide that same space for people in my life and for myself, right? And to be confident in making those choices. So I just thank you.
You're welcome. I didn't know I did that much. I was just being me.
Well, that's all we needed. So a couple of these, the last one that I had, but then also ties into one of these, is around like divorce and like being a single mom, right? Somebody that responded online whenever I posed the question, asking a mom something. And they said, so during the period of being a mom, going through a divorce, and then subsequently being a single mom, what are the top 3 things that you feel helped your children process their emotions during the divorce and afterwards?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What do I think the top 3 things that helped you guys process it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a loaded question.
It's also the way back train.
It's also, well, and there's no right or wrong answer.
I get that. You know what? I guess a lot of it I felt like was, you know, this is just another one of those things that you get dealt in life, and we're going to get through this day by day. It's not going to be easy, you know, but that's life. And I don't know. The 3 things that I helped,
or that you think helped
you guys
us
process it.
Yeah.
I would
Clearly,
say,
you're saying that your perseverance.
I would say that yes, that it was kind of like, you know, we got to do this. This is happening. We're going to make it work. It's called life. And I also would say that I felt like we just really kept communication open. It was very important to me to let them know, you know, financially that we were 100% strapped, all that kind of stuff, and get through it.
Not in the weeds of it, but just like life is going to have to change a little bit.
Life is going to have to change, and you know, we're going to have to move. We're going to have to anyway. But I would also say that I never felt that it was my place. I was never going to be the parent that, because of a divorce, that I wasn't going to, everything was not going to be their dad's fault. That I tried very hard to not ever say anything, you know, this is what happened, and this is the way it's going to be. So I would just say the respect, and I don't know, hoping that they would keep rolling with me. So I don't know if that's top 3 things, but I just felt like communication is probably the biggest one.
Throughout that, I mean, there are big nuggets there, right? Like being honest and straightforward with us. You didn't try to sugarcoat it and cover it up and say, you didn't give us all the nitty gritty of what was going on, but saying like, you know, mom and dad, and you and dad, I remember you guys brought us into your room and told us, and I remember how I reacted, which was immediately starting to cry and leaving the house and running up the street to my friend's house. But you guys let me do that. One, you knew I was safe, that I was going to a safe place, but that like you let me have that space to process. But you were straightforward with us, and you didn't make any promises that you were going to work on things and get back together. You know, you didn't do any of that. The communication piece, so being honest and straightforward, communication, and that third part, which I still and I have bragged about you, and especially since working in the divorce field for 10 years, you literally, while Jeremy and I were coming up, never said a bad word about dad. And dad and I, you know, Jeremy and I both have relationships with dad, so it's not like we're just talking about this person that doesn't exist in our lives anymore, but and you had a lot of reason to, and a lot of reason to, and I'm not going to sugarcoat that because it's the truth. And I saw so many times in clients and situations working in the family law world that people just they could not do that. Like their emotions and everything got the better of them. And unfortunately, then what that starts doing is making the kid the rope in the tug of war, and then they feel guilty, or they're getting misinformation, or then they start to have a tarnished relationship with the other parent.
The child has become the friend.
Yes, that part.
Well, I mean, that's their dad.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna take that away. And,
Good for you. My mom did.
he gave me 2 beautiful children. So, I mean,
Mom never told me. Jeremy didn't either. Even though he knew of like the large portions of what the catalyst was for you guys getting a divorce. And so once I finally found out, which you wanted me to find out for myself. You were like, if he's going to tell you, it's going to be your dad. Like, I'm not sharing that information. And once I kind of put the pieces together and figured it out, because at that time I was a daddy's little girl, and I thought he, hung the moon, and you didn't want to take that away from me, which I appreciate. Now being an adult and having gone through a divorce with similar characteristics, I'm just like, how did you? And you know what? The answer honestly boils down that you loved us more than you hated him, and you never lost sight of that. You knew what was going to affect us the most. You were getting to be there with us. You were there for all of the small moments in life. He made his choices, which he admits that those are the biggest regrets of his life and mistakes that he made. So I'm not saying anything he doesn't know, but like, you were there for all of those pieces. You got our lives. He got big moments. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, I don't know, I'm so grateful for Jeremy and I, and to have had that experience with you, and for you being so fucking strong, because to do that, and I know sometimes like you don't want to be strong. You're like, Jesus, I just want to not have to be strong for a second. But then once, fast forward to me going through a divorce, the first thing that started getting me through it, even though I knew at that moment I wasn't okay, that I was hurting, my world was blowing up, I was like, but Mom did it, and she did it with 2 kids. I'm not okay right now, but I have a really great example of how to get through this and do it with grace and strength and learning and growth and humor. And so I know I'm going to get there because I had that example, and that woman raised me. So that was my guiding light, and I am just unbelievably grateful for that. And I hope, I'm sure other people in the world have had those experiences. And for those that haven't, like, I'm sorry, listen to this podcast and please just like hang on to that, I guess, But,
I'm glad you felt that I was really strong, because you're right. There were times that I was like, oh my God, I just want to be that person that just walks away from everything right now. I'm like, I even said to my sister one time, why do I have to be so damn responsible?
Yeah. Well, we're grateful that you were. And I will say the same person that then left a comment and just said, as an older woman who has raised 3 children and still married, I tip my mom a heart to you. A single mom is a very beautiful lioness. Tell her to embrace the wrinkles and the gray hair. They all have a story.
Yes, they do.
Thank you for listening to Ramblings of a Restless Mind, brought to you by NC Estate Solutions. Nothing makes the human mind spiral like the loss of a loved one. What do you do? Who do you contact? What bills have to be paid? What documents need to be collected? When does an estate need to be filed with the government? NC Estate Solutions provides quality guidance on how to file probate on your own. And if the process is more than you can handle, Attorney Kara Williams and her team is a proven rock you can lean on. Estate administration can be a long and tedious, time-consuming process. You are there for them. Let NC Estate Solutions be there for you. Attorney Williams is happy to help today. Email her at kara@ncestatesolutions.com. That's CARA@ncestatesolutions.com, or visit ncestatesolutions.com for more information.
Last question here, and we'll stop berating you with things unless Deja pops up with something else. But this one, she said, I would love to have been able to ask my mom how she dealt with the heartache and sadness when me and my sisters left the house. I dealt with it internally with my daughter, and I so wish I could have had my mom to talk to her. So, how? Now, listen, Jeremy was a late bloomer in leaving the home.
He was.
Jeremy moved out, I think, when he was 26.
Yeah.
And we knew it was going to take the love of his life.
I love
to
how
get
you're
him out
like,
there.
yeah, but we knew.
Well, I mean, he just, I mean, But I mean, he was working and
Yeah.
he was
Oh, yeah.
helping me with everything, kind of thing, stuff, anything that I needed him to do. And he did his job. And Jeremy and I had some great times, honestly, watched movies and just because my Steve, my husband, is he was working nights at the time, and so Jeremy'd be like, "So, Mom, I got us a movie to watch when you get home from work tonight."
That's when you still rented movies.
So yeah,
yeah.
we would watch movies and we would have really great conversations and stuff. So I wasn't hating on it that he was living at home. When we took Jen to college, Steve was like, when we left her there, he just let me ride in silence. He's like, I know you're having a really hard time right now, Cheryl. And he goes, do you want to stop and get some ice cream or something? I was like, no. He goes, okay, I'll just let you be.
Man, that was a 4-hour ride home too.
Yes, it was. But I would say even then, it's hard, but it's also, I just kept trying to tell myself, you know what? We raise our kids to become their own person and to grow up and do what they want to do. And so that's happening. So it's another chapter. And people would always say, what was your favorite, I don't know, age group of your kids growing up? And I was like, you know what? I honestly enjoyed every stage, and just embraced it as it happened. And then it's like, okay, it's the next chapter. We're moving on to the next. So yeah, granted, when she moved off to college, that was a harder chapter to face. It was exciting to be excited for her and watch her, help her get all of her things together and pack everything up and put her car in the ditch. And but that's how I convinced Steve that she needed a cell phone.
Yeah, that's really, I intentionally did it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
But then when how did that happen when I think you were going back to college or something and his dad came out when he moved up to his dad's?
Who?
Jeremy.
Jeremy.
When he moved up to
New York for a little bit, yeah.
And I think you guys all three got in the moving truck together.
Yes.
And I was at the house by myself. And I walked up into Jeremy's room with nothing in it because he took absolutely everything out of the room. And I just remember laying on the carpet and going, whoa. Both of my kids are grown now. And they're leaving me. But they haven't. They're still there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, through all of that, I would say as far as kind of answering the question more directly is just kind of like let yourself feel the feels. Like it's okay to be sad.
Yeah, you do. You have to. I just embrace the really happy times and, live by all the lessons. And I remember one nurse, I'll never forget it. And I don't even remember, it was before you guys even became teenagers. And she said, one of the biggest things you have to remember with your kids is as they become teenagers and they get older, you have to start loosening those apron strings. Mm-hmm. You have to. And I was like, okay, I have to remember that.
Yeah.
And you do. You just have to trust that the morals that you have instilled in them when they're young are going to follow through, even though they may get in trouble. And honestly, we have no control over that because
no, they will get in trouble. They will make a mistake. And, it's just that you got to teach them. If you teach them all the things that you know, right? I think that you've done the best that you can, right? If it's
that's all you can do.
Yep. But it's I taught you how to take care of yourself. I taught you how to be able to go out and, ask for things in the world, right? And I've taught you to be a good and decent person and to treat people with honor and respect. And they're still going to make mistakes, and everybody needs to.
Heck, I
you gotta
make a lot of mistakes.
Hell yeah, girl! Oh my god! But you can't
insert my dating life.
Yeah, right. Oh my god. Her dating life, guys. I wasn't thinking about me. But no, I take a great sense of pride that I know that my boys can go out and fight on their own.
Yeah.
Right? Not necessarily fight, but they'll survive, right?
Yeah.
They'll survive.
And honestly, I'm just gonna, I don't know. I just have wonderful kids. I mean, I just feel like Jeremy has turned into such a caring,
Oh,
wonderful
he's the bar.
man. Yes, and wonderful daddy, and just amazing husband, and all that good stuff, and just
You're pretty cool too, kid.
cares. Well, I was going to say, and then Jen. I mean, there's so many ways that I wish, even her younger self, when I was in college, that I was as badass as she was.
Ooh, Mom just dropped a cuss word.
Yes. Yes.
No, I obviously got that strength and the courage to do that because of you, right? And so I think one, you apparently taught me that having a lot of underwear is the most important thing to have, because that's when I would come. I knew it was time to come home for laundry, so I didn't have to pay for it in the dorm. Was whenever I was like, oh, I'm getting real low on clean undies. It's time to make the drive down the highway 4 hours.
How many pairs of underwear do you have?
Yes. No, but then throughout all of this, the thread has been communication, which is on point, right? Like in every type of relationship in life, and it really boils down to communication. Because I remember even then, after coming home for college for like a weekend or whatever, you never were like, well, your curfew still applies when you're under my roof. Instead, it switched to, hey, I know that you're off in college now and you're used to doing things on your own and blah, blah, blah. But if you'll just give me the courtesy of letting me know if you're coming home or if you're staying at a friend's house. And that works wonders, because you're not, as a kid, you're like, you're still, okay, I'm back home. Like I got to follow all the rules. But you loosened those strings and you understood I was starting this other phase in my life and giving me the space to still do that without being a tyrant and like, putting the hammer down.
And that's why I like put it right back on her, them, whatever. It's kind of like
the guilt.
It's like, no, I mean, I know you don't live under my roof anymore, but it's called respect.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to be late coming home from work, I'm going to let you know.
Because I'm going to
So
worry.
if you're going, so if you're going to be coming home late,
just give me a heads up.
let me know.
Yep.
Because I will worry. So
That's it. And that's why I say it's a little bit of guilt. Because I'm just being honest with you. I am going to worry. I'm going to sit and I'm going to fixate on it. And I'm going to wonder if you're dead.
Well, I think I read it somewhere or heard it somewhere or something. Once you're a parent, you never stop worrying.
Oh.
I don't care how old your children are. I mean, ask them. I still say, let me know when you get home. I want to know when you get home.
I mean, I make her do the same thing now.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I mean.
And that's love.
Yeah.
You worry because you love. You're thinking about them. And so that I think is completely healthy. And for them to not, my boys to be like, no, we'll just let her know because, she loves us and she worries about us,
She
right?
wants to-
Like, because she's going to send me a
wants to
pictures
know.
going,
Yeah.
Yep.
Or if it's been too long, I'm like, maybe she
make it home?
forgot.
Yeah.
Please tell me that I'm going to trust that you made it home safely.
Yes. Yeah. No, I love it. Well, I don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so. We've been talking for almost 2 hours.
Yep.
Have we really?
Yes.
Yep.
Boom. What did we say? We said, we're just going to start. We'll be talking and you won't even know.
Yeah. I
See?
guess so.
You did an amazing job.
There's been a couple of times that I've had like a take your mom to work day in different capacities, like whatever we had going on in life. And she always showed up, and it was so fun because I felt like you got to see a peek of like what I do in my adult life. And there was one particular time we were at a networking event, and you go around and you stand up and you say 30 seconds about like your business or whatever, right? Your little commercial. And then when you're a guest, you do it as well. And so Mom came as my guest because I was taking her to the airport afterwards. And I was like, Mom, but you don't have to stand up and like say anything. Like, you're going to be like, I'm retired. You can all suck it. But she stood right up, and I know that you do not feel comfortable in those scenarios. And I tell you what, my little daughter heart was just so stinking proud of you. And because you're stepping outside your comfort. And I think, you being in your wise years, like it is hard to do things that I think even more so, like when you're set in your ways or whatever, like Steve, bless his heart, but sometimes I think he's older than you are. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, Mom snagged herself a man that's 8 years younger. So go ahead, girlfriend.
Yeah, they were like, Stella got her groove back. I said, is that what we call it? I don't know.
Yep. Hell yeah.
No,
Great movie.
he's been good. He's been good.
Yeah, he is a pretty phenomenal bonus dad and human being. Or as Asia calls him, Papa. But anyway, well, I just can't thank you enough for stepping outside your comfort zone and joining us today. And I love that I get to have this as an evergreen token of memories with you. And I'll get emotional if I talk about it anymore. So
I love you.
Oh,
Thank you,
I love you
for
guys
being
too.
an
Joe,
amazing
I love
woman
you too.
who made
thanks.
my bestie, who made a wonderful human, who makes my life better, which means you make my life better. And you've welcomed me into your family, and you've given me the view of how the two of you, your children, ended up the way that they are, which is honorable, decent, deeply empathetic people. I've been around the country. I've seen a lot of people, and not many are as empathetic as your family. And so I say thank you for adopting me. Thank you for keeping me. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for always inviting me.
Absolutely.
And I'm not the only one. When you have the type of family that is a American family, an American family is a conglomerate, right? An American family is all
Blended
sorts of
family.
all sorts of different kinds of people, and it doesn't mean that you're blood. And I deeply appreciate and respect you. And I love to actually have a, scientifically at least, what a good mom should look like. So I just want to, thank you. Thank you for that. Because it also then, my sons then also get, like, having Christmas, the things that I didn't have, being able to expose my sons to what family is. I'm going to start getting emotional. So with that,
yep.
love yourself, be more confident. You're not allowed to put yourself down anymore. And everybody out there,
you guys, you've made me feel very special. But I guess, I don't know. I really wanted to be a good mom. I guess it was really important to me because I lost mine.
Yeah.
And
well, you did a damn fine job, woman.
Hell yeah, you did. You took
Damn
that.
fine.
That's epitome of turning a frown upside down,
Hell
man.
yeah.
You nailed it.
I always kind of hoped that, mom would be proud of me.
Oh, sure.
100%.
Absolutely. And I things come back in, right? Karma comes back around. And the love that you put out, you were rewarded. And let that be a lesson to you, listener and viewer out there. The more love you put out into the world, the more rambling that you do, the more you will get back. Love you.
Thanks for joining us on Ramblings for a Restless Mind. If tonight's rambling sparked any ideas, made you laugh, or just made you think, we'd love to hear from you.
Leave us a voicemail at 919-295-0578. That's 919-295-0578. And your question might get answered on our next episode.
Because chances are, you're not alone. Don't forget to hit subscribe and join us next week for another round of rants, musings, and maybe even some answers.